this is Lynn with Psychic Focus at psychicfocus.blogspot.com, and today I had 3 different questions I decided to compile into one post for today, so I will go ahead and get started. The first question says, "Hi Lynn, is a YouTuber, and the name of the channel is called A Call for an Uprising, really into something with his videos, or is he a deceiver?" And here's a link to his YouTube channel. And I have a link to that listed in my actual blog post. And what I did was I went to the YouTube channel that's called A Call for an Uprising, just to kind of get a vibe and feel for what it is that this channel was about. So I felt like I could, I guess, tap into it and answer what I got intuitively and any other thing I got that came forward to me while I kind of took all this in. And I looked at a few of the videos to really get a good feel, and it does feel as though this channel speaks a lot of truths, even though he focuses on the darker side of truth. You know, when you look at something and when you assess it and you take everything in and you put it through a filter, sometimes a lot of good can be there, sometimes there's some negative, and sometimes it's a balance between the two. And it really felt as though this had a lot of the darker side of truth, but nonetheless still truth. And I don't know that specific people he cites are connected to the Illuminati. That was the focus of a lot of this channel, that some of these famous people are connected to the Illuminati and sending messages through their work, whether it's a song that they wrote or they're singing or performing, that type of thing. So I didn't get that they're all connected to the Illuminati, but what I did get was the powers that were, and I talk to them a lot, I call them the PTW. They have an interest and a strong influence on people in the public eye. So this interest could be because of a movie role, a song lyric, public appearance, all kinds of things, because they see people in Hollywood as a gateway, a conduit to talk to the masses, and people like to follow and idolize people in Hollywood. So that's a good spokesperson for, you know, to get an agenda to come through. And some of these people, they get bullied into alluding they have an opinion they may not really have. And I also see that some of them get caught in the trap of following through with an agenda without even knowing they're doing it. For example, say they're singing a song, maybe they didn't even write the lyrics to the song, but they're singing the song, so they're expressing an opinion, expressing maybe a motive of the underlying agenda. However, it's not really genuine to them. They're just following through with what they're told to do. And I also see an image of a hand puppet and what it looked like and it felt like to me by seeing these symbolic images was that a lot of times these people are being controlled, sometimes willingly, but sometimes unwillingly also. And it doesn't really matter as long as the result is the message is the same. And I'm reminded that above all, listen to your intuitive filter. You know, anything that crosses your path, you should take it in and really think about it. If something doesn't feel right, if it doesn't resonate with you, it's probably, there's a reason behind it, and it's worth thinking about, researching, or questioning it, at least to yourself, to determine, is this truth or is there something more going on here? Okay. So the next question I got, it's regarding the psychic twins, Terry and Linda Jameson. They want to know, are they really real? And there's a link to their YouTube channel. And so I'll be honest, I never really watched them. I never got into them. So I went to the channel just to tune into them. And immediately it was like I got these mixed feelings. You know, when a psychic or a medium presents their findings or predictions, it can be difficult to understand the process they use to get there. Some people see things, you feel things, you smell things, you taste things. There's a whole plethora of ways that messages come through. And if they're using skills such as what I described, I mean, maybe they have a clear audience or clairvoyance, or maybe they just have a very good intuitive nudge, but there's some other supporting information as well. You know, that's psychic and intuitive ability. If you just make a statement or you make an opinion just only on a hunch, that's just really words. That's just making a statement. And so I do sense the hunch portion of their predictions, but I couldn't really sense the supporting sensations, which are the clears I talked about. And the clears are, you know, you see it, you feel it. You hear it, you taste it, you sense it. I didn't get that supporting intuitive or psychic component. I got more the hunch aspect of it. I also get this disconnected and imbalanced feeling when I focused on them. And what I meant by that was it's so important when you're doing a reading or when you're tuned in that you have a balance between gratitude, humility, and ego. And if any part of that is off, it starts to cloud your reading and it just feels different. At least it does for me when I'm tuned in and trying to do a reading on whether it's a topic or a person. And so I really felt that the ego part of where they are was off. And, ego is tied to ourselves. We all have it. We all fight it. But if you have that focus of ego when you go into a reading, or you even are worried about it, you can't be of service to others if you're worried about yourself. So I felt like some component of that ego portion was blocking their ability. So it says, back to the question, are they really psychic? I think they have some ability, but I feel like something's really blocking a true ability from being used. This felt more like making statements or making hunches or guess. I don't see the natural, intuitive component to match it. But I'm not in their bodies, but that's just my perception of how I felt when I tuned into them and tuned into their process. I tuned into their channel, and all of those things combined. Okay. So now the last question, and I thought this was such a great question because I've had this question myself. So there's a psychic medium who I used back when I was still skeptic, and she blew me out of the water. It was a life-changing reading the day I realized that there really is a spirit world and we're eternal. So why would a medium that's so accurate and gifted during a reading to someone else say that she sees a child in spirit from who was killed at Sandy Hook when it's proven that Sandy Hook was a psyop with no kids dying? When asked a few questions about Sandy Hook, she never once said it was fabricated. This medium owns a huge metaphysical teaching facility and teaches people how to not let own programming interfere with what you're hearing. She also never watches the news. I've seen this with other amazing mediums. What is causing them to not see the truth? And also, is it common that the spirit will purposely not let you see the truth to protect you? And if so, why not just give a shush finger symbol like you tell us you see it? Which I do get that. There's this ET that when I tune in and I've reached all I'm supposed to know, or I'm not supposed to go any further, I get this shush symbol. And it's very clear and very obvious to me that's a time for me to stop. So that's what that part of the question was referring to. So back to the question itself, which I said I love this because I've witnessed it with people that I highly respect, people that I've been mentored by, people that I'm in meditation groups with, and so forth. And I've spent some time understanding this and trying to come to terms with it. And it came to me through a lot of thought and meditation that there's so many talented mediums and psychics that are focused on the light and the high vibrations and angels and all that positive part of life and part of the universe that they cannot even consider the darker side. It's so against their belief system that it's like they can't accept it into their 3D reality, so they don't even go there. And one of my good friends, who's blocked from seeing the evils of the world, just in general, and very gifted as a medium, I asked her, I said, if you believe in the good and you believe in lights and angels and that everything's in balance, how is it that you don't consider that darker evil is even possible? How do you not even entertain that thought? And she says, I just don't go there. I don't entertain it. I don't think about it. And I realize that they've blocked themselves from seeing and considering these things because their focus is only on the positive and looking at the good. And on contrast, I had a very different experience when it came to understanding my gifts. And I had to work through a lot of fear to get there. And really very early on, I accepted that there was good. But at even 5 years old, I knew if there was good out there, that there was also bad. So when I started to develop and meditate, I realized that the universe does work in balance. And even though it may not see things in terms of the word good or bad, these things feel very good and bad here in this 3D world. So I respect it for what it is. And because I do have this as part of my belief system, I am very firm on setting protection, and I do heed warnings such as the shush symbol when it's necessary. So that's my understanding on how certain people are able to see certain things, and how some people can just completely block whole parts of things out. And that's all I had for this reading. I want to thank you for listening. Please feel free to leave a comment, like it, share it. It helps me out so much. And I just want to thank all of you. I'm so humbled to have this community that's together. I love all you guys. So again, this is Lynn with Psychic Focus at psychicfocus.blogspot.com. Thank you, and take care.